was
This
the
conference
45
will now be
years.
recorded.
Now you know what I did for 45 years. I was on the bleeding edge of technology, and now all I have is my handy dandy flip phone.
And no blood. I used to be too. I used to. I was on the internet before there was an internet.
Right,
Oh,
right. Me
my.
too.
I remember the guy showed up with Windows. I said, "Who needs Windows when you got MS-DOS command prompt?"
Right.
I mean,
We
I
were
was
playing
before
with the
that.
Ethernet with Intel in 1973.
ARPANET. Right. Yes, I know all that good stuff.
yeah, White Pine and all that stuff. Yeah.
We just, we got a copy of Dungeons and Dragons from the guys at the University of Massachusetts, and we're sitting on the coast in California watching the sunrise, playing Dungeons and Dragons.
And I had a 5 megabyte. I had a laptop compact that had a floppy disk. It came with 5 megabytes, and I said, 5 megabytes. Who the hell needs all that storage?
Hey, 64K was a big deal.
Yeah, with Commodore, right?
Right.
Then there was the System
Uh-oh.
3, the big IBM Mega things with the
Yeah.
huge discs, the
Oh.
18-inch discs.
Yep.
Yeah, they have those at Ford. They're the size of a track. They have some the size like a hard drive that was a megabyte hard drive at Ford Research and Development. It's the size of like a Terex tractor tire.
Wow.
And I swear to God, it is this thick.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Had to put it in a vibration-proof room and everything. Crazy stuff.
We had to have all the floors raised 18 inches.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those were the days. No.
Okay, Rick is back.
Rick got back in.
We can see you.
Okay, I'm still not coming, so I'll go out and try it again.
No, Sally, let me tell you what I had to do. I had to go out and restart my computer, reboot my computer, and then come back, and then it was fine.
Okay.
If there's an update. So here's the deal with this. I loaded it up, and the deal was it said update it on your computer. And I said, I just use the web browser. The web browser is fine. So if you don't use the GoToMeeting package opener, if you're on a Windows machine, the deal is if you just open your browser, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't realize GoToMeeting's updating itself and everything. Yeah.
Right.
Do it in your browser. Just go to Chrome and say, don't launch GoToMeeting opener, open in browser, and you should be okay, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, I have a MacBook, so a MacBook you have to install the stuff and keep it current. But hey, it's okay.
Jim, I have a MacBook
Yes.
as well. So did you updated your GoToMeeting app?
I updated it about a week and a half ago. I check it, and I do not allow automatic updates.
Okay.
Right.
I query to see. Then the thing is, provided I see an update out there, I wait for about a week or two, because historically what happens, an update comes up and there's bugs in it. And so everybody jumps on it and they have problems, and eventually they then fix it in about a week. So I wait about a week and a half.
Yeah, I delay all my stuff. Same thing. Yeah. I used to be bleeding edge and everything. You know,
I was on the bleeding edge for a while.
I don't want to spend 2 hours debugging their crap.
Right.
Now I know I can call the two of you when I have my my tech problems if I update too early.
Yeah, I never do.
Right. I do it on everything, including the Mac OS.
Well, Jim, you just may be getting a call from me sometime on that, or Gerry.
Sure.
Because, and Gerry, I thought I was going to be in Detroit, but still kind of unsure. But my husband was originally told he would have to be going on May 10th until sometime in September, but it hasn't happened yet.
Wow,
So
what does he do? Is he project manager? What is he?
He is with the Food and Drug Administration.
Ah,
Ooh.
that's not good.
Ooh.
That's not good.
It's it actually has, it doesn't really have, that probably made it sound worse than it was. It would just, it's not anything.
Salad. I'm off salads. I'm tired of all the
No, it's
contamination.
not anything like that. That's not what he does. He's
No
he's
power distance anymore.
Oh, there's Sally.
Oh, Sally. She made it.
I don't know what they've done, but they've screwed it up.
We were just talking about that. I think it's something to do with updates, and I don't know, but it's a mess. And I'll talk to Alexa tomorrow. She said to me that they're updating their own servers and switching stuff, and that's causing problems. In the meantime, Mary was here. I'm not sure who Mary is, but Mary is no longer here.
She was my coachee.
Oh,
She
well,
lives in
she's
Michigan.
got.
She's my coachee.
Mary with the bird.
Yeah, Mary Pearson.
Oh, that
She's been
wasn't
here
the
a
same
lot.
Mary. I thought that was a
Catfishing, yeah.
different Mary.
No, that's Mary.
Oh, that was Mary?
But she had issues. I think Barbell saw it too, in that her screen, Barbell, did you see it? It went from like her face to like this weird like pixels everywhere.
Yeah, she had problems with the video also. Maybe she will come back.
Okay. Oh,
Oh,
here
wait,
she
we
is.
have,
Now, what do you know?
Mary has arrived.
let's see if
All
we
right.
have somebody.
And I just called out. I just texted Al. I don't know where he is. He's
Oh,
probably forgotten.
no, he told me he was on his way. Okay, hold on.
Oh,
Was going, he gets back in time. Did he have a doctor's appointment today? I don't know.
oh, maybe. He may have done. I haven't talked to him since the weekend. So I spoke to him at the weekend, but that's okay. But now things are shaping up. Everybody's here. And I did check, and they managed to open the other room. So they're going along fine. Oh, there's Mary.
There's Mary. She got her hair cut.
That's what it is. You see, I told you. Okay. Now, is this meeting being recorded? Oh, the recording's in progress. They've been here. Oh my gosh.
Well, I thought I would start the recording without thinking that this was going to continue happening. Our
Oh,
French farce.
okay. So we'll
Perhaps
have to tell people not to start listening 5 minutes in. All right.
is it
I won't.
possible to edit the first?
It's very complicated for us to do that. It's not
Everything
easy.
in context.
It's possible, but it's not easy to edit it out.
So perhaps we could say that this is the official start to this
Yes.
evening AnCan blood cancer group.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I feel like I've been talking to you for a while, but how is everyone doing? So it's June 1st. I don't know if anyone else knows. Does anyone know where June came from? The month of June, how it was named?
The Greek god Junus.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
The goddess, yes. Anyone know what she's the goddess of?
Hot
Wasn't she
places? I
Mars'
don't know.
wife?
Marriage and I don't know if it's giving birth or children, but yeah, so probably fertility, and I think it lost something in its translation, and marriage. So there you go. You learn something new every day. I learned that today. I didn't realize that. So happy June, happy fertility, everyone. So I just wanted to find out who, we don't have anyone new this evening, but who needs some time tonight to speak? I know there's some of you I would love to get updated.
Better to ask each person individually. You'll get a better response.
Jerry, I see that you would like.
I got a really good feel good story. So that's the only thing I want to share. But
Hey, maybe we'll have you be our kicker. Sally,
Yes, ma'am.
I bet you have info you'd like to share.
I don't particularly want to, but I will.
Okay, I would love to know. Mary,
Do you want?
do you have anything you'd like to speak about tonight? And we'll come back to you.
Just 1 minute.
All right. Jim?
Oh, well, I could do an update.
Okay,
Good news update.
I'm loving all this good news stuff. Lou, will you like some time?
Just a few minutes for an update.
All right. And Barbell, my CLL buddy.
1 minute, just like Mary.
It's going to be a quick meeting if everyone's really only taking a minute. Did I miss anyone here? And also, I would like, Michelle, would you like a few minutes? I would like a few minutes. Okay. Rick, do you need any time this evening?
No, other than just to remind you that there's an art class on the 8th next week.
I
One of
signed
our
up.
virtual art classes. And if you haven't joined one, they are great, great fun. And I think there's a thing in your reminder, and I would strongly recommend them.
I signed up for it. I've never done an art class, and I'm excited to. I don't know if any of you want to join.
Oh, and you, Michelle, you can sign up for the Veterans Art class, which is later in the month, where you get free supplies.
Ooh, then I'll have supplies for future ones.
Yes. So make sure you sign up, because we got sponsorship for the Veterans Art class, and we're able to provide supplies from that sponsorship money. And then the regular art classes, we don't have it. People love them, but I'll make sure you get you'll get it, but I'll make sure you get it too. And
Okay.
it's for vets and vets' wives and vets' families and anybody else. No, not really anybody else, but anyway. All right.
I can always adopt some of you, and then you'll be
There you
part of
go.
the veteran family if you're not already. All right. So, Gerry, let's start with that good news story.
Okay, so you guys know I ride a bike and everything, and so I've been riding and riding, and we go down this. There's a pathway because we ride paths because we don't like roads. And the deal is we call it Garbage Hill because it's a huge landfill that has asphalt that's starting to break away and everything. And so we're riding, and the first day I'm riding down this thing, and you go like, I don't know, 35, 40 miles an hour. And there's these stones and this killdeer. I don't know, you familiar with the killdeers? Bird? They run around and they scream, they nest on the ground. And so they're all over the place here. And this mother screams at me. And I veered over and, I said, what, I pointed. And the next day, 2 days later, I come down the thing and she screams again. I said, I'm going to do something for this bird because somebody's going to run this thing over. And so the deal is before I came down with all this stuff with the blood cancer and everything, I started having a real feeling for life. I mean, I had an example of, I was in Carmano's Cancer Center and I'm sitting in the lobby one time and there's a katydid bug and it's sitting in the room because it's a wooden floor and everything. And this guy steps on it. And I just come back and say, why would you kill something like this? But the deal is life is precious. And so what I ended up doing is I went back there today and took these, I don't know, probably a 15-pound sandbag and put this in front of the nest. And I actually have a picture of it, of the three little eggs, because the eggs are they're like pebbles. So you really can't see them. And I didn't want some bicyclist to run over them. And I didn't want, I didn't want it to be crushed. And so what I did is I came back and I went down. I had to drive up this and go down this big hill with a sandbag by hand. And I put the sandbag in front of it. And then I emailed the trail manager for the township and everything. And she said, well, is there anything we can do? I said, well, an orange cone would be great. A big orange cone in front of this thing, because you can't move the nest or anything. But it was good because, the eggs will hatch in 2 weeks and everything. And to see this bird so stressed, it was just a cool thing to do. And the guys thought I was nuts because I drove a half an hour each way to just drop off this sandbag because it bugged me all night last night.
Oh, I think that's
Jerry, Jerry, how did you carry a 15-pound sandbag on your bike? Strapped it
No,
on
I
your
didn't. I
back?
walked down. It has handles. It had a handle. I had it for a flooding problem I had. But the
Oh,
deal was
okay.
they're like long and tube, so they're almost like military style. And so what
Right.
it has a hand thing. So I carried this, I schlepped this thing down, and nobody walks down this thing. So it's like I'm going, oh God, I'm gonna break my ankle or something. You know what I mean? Trying to save these stupid bird eggs. But yeah, I just walked down this big hill and put it out there and saved the life, 3 lives, hopefully, if all 3 eggs hatch.
that's really a very
And,
nice story,
and
and
you
that
got
you're.
to understand it because the guys I ride with are all engineers, and there is no emotive capability in these guys imaginable. I mean, they're all very binary and stuff because everybody just thought, let it go, don't worry about it.
I think that's
That,
very nice.
I love it. Yeah, I have to say, Jerry, I love that story. It's great. I know I'm the same way. I don't like killing insects. If I can pick them up and throw them outside, um, I will do that. And I really get it. You know, these people say, "Oh, it's a spider," and they just squash it. And I hate that.
Yeah.
It bothers me. It
Mhm.
bothers me. So I really get it, and that's so great. And the mom was trying to tell you, "Don't come near my little ones." And
Oh,
I mean,
just
that's
scream. And
really
it scares the shit out of you too when you're riding. You're going down 40 miles an hour down this, and if you're not expecting it, it's like something jumping out at you. And just the scream is so
how big
loud.
are they? I mean, are they like the road
They're about
runners?
this big. They're about this big, the mom.
Yeah.
Um, and so, the good thing is the path that the people, because City Hall is right up the hill. And I got the treasurer coming down, and she'll put a big orange cone, and I said that'll block her view because this thing's stressed out. Because this trail gets 1,500 riders a day, if you can imagine.
Wow.
Well,
So that's a lot of stress on that bird.
right.
And what kind of
Mm.
bird did you say it was?
Killdeer.
Killdeer.
That's what I thought you said. Yeah, I'd never ever heard of one.
It's like a
KFL,
sandpiper. It's like a
yeah,
sandpiper, Michelle.
with no ocean or anything. No, they're
Yeah.
they're kind of desert.
It's a
They like to
desert. Oh, it's a desert sandpiper.
right.
Poor mama bird.
So it's just
But
cool.
they
It's
also
cool
fly
to do
out
that.
and distract you by making you think, or their predators think, that they broke a wing, and they'll
Yeah,
honk
right,
along,
exactly. Right. They play
lead you
they
away
do
from the
wounded
nest.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, that was a very, very noble and nice thing you did today, and that life is so precious.
That's the story really. Is that you really start to appreciate all the not that I wouldn't
Mhm.
have done it before, but just the life is precious, as we all
Mhm.
know, right? I mean, everybody knows that.
Now, would you have done that before your diagnosis, or you don't know?
Yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did do it before my diagnosis because there was another one that was in a golf course parking lot, and I put bricks up around the nest. And I save turtles all the time. I'm a big turtle saver. Everybody jokes around about it. Nobody wants to stop and everything. So I pick up the turtles because they don't stand a chance on the roads, and because I ride a lot. I mean, 7,000 miles, 5,000 miles a year.
Wow.
So you're on the road a lot, and so you see a lot. And so I do the same thing for turtles. It's just the things don't stand a chance otherwise with mankind. You know what I mean? We're just like it's like Fahrenheit or like we're just overpopulating everything. We take everything.
You should write about that as a metaphor. Well, actually, see, Juno protected. It's June 1st. Did you do that today? See, she protected the goddess of
Yeah,
of fertility or children of a birth.
All right. Jesus, cat. Go. Go.
That's a wonderful feel-good story to start with. Lou, you've been patiently waiting here. What are your updates or news that you have?
I went to my oncologist office, but myeloma specialist, and I met with the nurse practitioner this time, and I had anticipated my labs not being, you know, the best this time. You get to see them ahead of time if you go into my chart, at my cancer center. And so I could see that the numbers looked higher, uh, the markers, than they were last time. So we kind of were not really looking forward to the visit because we knew it was going to be, I'm not in remission anymore. But you know what? It was expected. I haven't had any treatment since the end of September. Was my last treatment with teclistamab, the bispecific, and put me in remission. And I've been in remission since the end of September, actually the end of August. So I've been very lucky to have these months, since that time in remission, and knew since I wasn't able to continue with teclistamab that my numbers would start increasing. So it's been nice while it's lasted. My nurse practitioner said she talked to Dr. Abdallah, and he still wants to watch and wait. So I'm not going on anything right now, but depending upon what the numbers look like, he has increased the times that I come in for labs. It was at 6 weeks, I think, and now he wants to see my labs every 4 weeks. So, it wasn't the best news, but it wasn't the worst. And so it's still watch and wait, but I'm not in remission anymore. So, but like I said, that was expected. And I see these months that I've had since the end of August as a gift. So, you know, it just is what it is. And I always look at it like, what's next?
So you
Mhm.
were planning on vacationing. Will you still continue your plans on that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we booked a trip to London and Paris. So that's in October. I was hoping that I wouldn't have to be on treatment, during that time. So just keeping fingers crossed that maybe things do not move too quickly so that I have to go on something that I'll have to deal with side effects. I don't want to have to deal with side effects on the trip. So,
Lou, there's other drugs you can take though. Is there other things they can start you on?
yeah, Dr. Abdallah had mentioned at the last visit when I was with him about the possibility of going on some things maybe I have been on before, like Darzalex. So, there's some other things before I jump into something else. But I did talk to the nurse practitioner about a list of all of the treatments that are available right now, currently available. I have this wonderful list I printed from, and it was an IMF, International Myeloma Foundation presentation by Dr. Gerry, who's the chief medical officer. And he did a presentation with another doctor and another nurse practitioner, I think she was. And he presented this awesome list of all of the drugs currently in use for myeloma. And so I printed it off. I took the list in, and I had already researched a lot of the drugs on it. So I was familiar with almost all of them. But there's another bispecific that uh, the target is not just BCMA, but there's another target for that. And so we talked about that as a possibility, but it's still in clinical trials. So, but Dr. Abdallah has access. He has that clinical trial at the University of Kansas. So anyway, it's a possibility. So
What's your
we'll
translocation,
we'll
Lou?
see.
Lou, what's your translocation?
4 and 13.
Okay.
It's not, I was told by one of the doctors when I was first diagnosed at KU, who said 4 and 13 is not the worst, translocation to have. He said, but it's about the second or third word.
Well,
But
it's more
I
unusual
don't
than
have it. I don't
414.
have it showing anymore. Not since I had my stem cell transplant. It's not showing up on any of my
Well,
testing.
then you've gone to a different clone. What's the new clone translocation?
I don't have a translocation showing right now. I have a 1Q.
Yeah. But you've got to have
Uh,
some translocation. You've got to have some genetic problem. You didn't get a new fish?
I did have a fish, but it did not. All it talked about was a
The 1Q?
1Q,
Yeah.
but I did not see where it had any other listed. The 413
Because
is gone.
yeah, I
So
said you and I have talked about how it's so clonal that you can get rid of one clone and the second clone will
yeah,
start coming up, but that second clone's got to have a genetic marker as well. So
I have
if it
not.
happens, if the new marker is 1114, you can go into venetoclax.
Yeah, yeah. I don't have that. I mean, that was not in my list.
And they're treating with multiple the bi, would you, would you refer to it as bi-specific?
Bispecifics.
Yeah,
Bispecific.
yeah, because I'm reading studies, at least for AML, because you couldn't, it's very difficult to kill. They're using bispecifics now of stuff. And I was wondering if there was for your condition, where they use multiple bispecifics and achieve a
Mhm.
much better outcome.
So,
Well, I know that it worked, the bispecific that I had in August and September was teclistamab, and its success rates were really good, like above 63%, depending upon, what your starting point is as far as your um, burden, your disease burden. But within 2 weeks, it was showing that I was in some type of remission. They could not see any myeloma cells in my blood. And then in December, there wasn't no myeloma cells in my bone marrow biopsy. So I, I'm glad I'll make those other choices about what to do next when it comes to that. Right now, I'm just trying to live. And Dr. Abdallah said, enjoy it while you can.
Lou, go out to the Health Your Cure Hub and run the clinical trial study algorithm or whatever it's called, because since you've changed and your labs have changed, it might show something different.
Yeah.
so
And I did update. I did update my stuff.
Yeah, I just updated mine too.
Yeah,
for
just recent.
with multiple myeloma, is it so when you get your numbers and your clones and your transgressions, I'm sorry, your genetic markers, I know with CLL,
We don't have transgressions, Michelle.
translocation.
Translocations.
Save that for the praise.
Occasionally we
Save
have
that for the
transgression.
testing.
Well, that's only in July, Lou.
I'm just trying to make it more interesting, sorry, translocations. Do they give you the percentages where you're at on, when you're from your test? So for instance, for CLL, let's take 11Q, for example, or 17P, there are some, it depends where the test is done. Sometimes they'll show you the percentage, and sometimes the percentage isn't enough to call it as you actually have the mutation. Do you have the same? So Lou, would it be possible that yours are still at their infancy stage, that maybe there aren't enough of them to see yet?
That's possible.
There aren't, I mean, a
I
high
haven't
enough.
had that conversation with him recently, so.
And aside from your transgressions, we're just talking, and translocations, is that the same testing? Is that through flow cytometry?
Yes, that and
Yeah,
fish, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But
Lou,
it's, it's just I'm thankful for the months I got, and we'll see. I'm just looking forward to our trip. And then of course, I guess I'll see Sally the end of July at the Health
Summit.
Tree Coaches Summit. So looking forward to that as well.
I want to make sure everybody knows what a bispecific is, and if they don't, would they like to know? Does anybody want to know what a bispecific is?
No,
Yes, please.
Oh,
Jim does.
I know Mary knows. So.
Who can explain it?
That sounds like a woke term.
we're not going there. Who's going to explain it? I could, but it's not me. Sally, you're the coach around here. Come on.
It's easier if I just draw pictures, and I can't get my camera to work at the moment again either.
we see you.
We can see
I can't
you.
see any of you, but that's all right.
We can see you. We're
I
seeing
know, but
you.
I don't see anybody. My screen is blank. No, it's back now.
No, mine's been blinking off and on, and
Yeah,
it keeps
mine too.
asking me if I want to switch something again. So it's got to be the software, because mine's
I'm
gone
doing
dark
fine.
twice.
I
So-
am just stable. Who's going to explain bispecifics?
Very
Come on.
quickly, a bispecific is a targeted drug that attracts the T cells with one little grabber and attaches to the myeloma cell with another little grabber and brings the two together, so the T cell will bring along the killer cells and kill the myeloma cell. But it's all
Wow.
genetically modified.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's very quickly what it is.
And as we're
So-
talking about, yeah, and like Gerry said, they're using them now for AML. They're using them, I know they're studying them with CLL. So it's attacking two different
Right.
antigens, I guess you'd say, or whatever, at the same time, depending
But they
on.
also now can
They stack
they're
'em.
not
Stack
they're
'em.
not for just one different protein on the myeloma cell. Teclistamab, which Lou was talking about, is a BMS5, I think, marker, and they're doing it for a GN538F marker. So even though you've had one bispecific, you can go and have another one because it's going to attack and attach to a different marker on the myeloma cell and bring that T cell over to it.
So they're also using this technology for solid tumors as well. And
Oh, that's good.
the way that I like to explain it is that in military terms, you're like this, Captain Marshall, that on one end, you have a missile that can seek out cancer cells. And on the other end, you have a payload. And when the missile finds the cancer cell, the payload destroys the cell. So you've got a missile finding the cell on one end and a payload destroying the cell. Now for multiple myeloma, the payload is a T cell. It's bringing a T cell. It's seeking out this protein on a multiple myeloma. But for example, for us with prostate cancer, it could be a radionuclide like lutetium. Or if you just want to light it up and make it so that you can see it, gallium, because it can be used for scanning or it can be used for therapeutic. But it's all based on this bispecific, the ability of one molecule to attach a couple of things to it so one can find the cell and the other can destroy the cell. How's that?
Very good.
Thank
get a
you.
gold star.
Thank you. Okay.
They're pretty cool
Okay.
though. Let's hope that they continue growing and working. I mean, growing in for all the different diseases. So, Sally, I'm sorry. So you were just explaining what it was. Lou, you may be going on one of these, a new
He's
one
been
maybe.
on one.
And there's I know the tequistamab, but your doctor, Abdullah, you said, he said that
Yes,
he was
Abdallah.
part of a multi-center trial then for a new one. Do you know
Yeah,
what?
there's one called Tequeltamab. I'm not saying it right, probably. Tequitamab, I think is how it's pronounced, and it has a CD3 and listen to this, GPRC5D target
That was
as
the
well.
one I was
So
trying to guess what the numbers were. I know it was G's and P's and F's.
I know. Anyway, that's the targets for it. So I may be able to go on that, but it is, like I said, a clinical trial. So the good thing is it is available at my cancer center, and it would depend upon if I would qualify. Of course, you have to go through the qualifying tests. So
And what phase is it? Do you know?
I'm not, it doesn't say on the sheet that I have, and what I've read about was phase 1 and 2 at the time. So I don't know how far along in the process it is right now. My guess is phase 2.
I think that one was talked about at ASH, but now ASH
Yes,
starting tomorrow.
yes,
So there may be some new news to look for
yes,
starting
yeah.
tomorrow.
And
Ash,
I will
I thought
watch for
Ash
that.
was December.
ASCO,
ASH
isn't it?
Oh,
ASCO?
ASCO.
tomorrow,
Okay.
ASCO,
I thought
yeah.
you said
So
Ash.
there could be some new things to look for everyone
Yeah.
once that happens. I was going to go, but for a few reasons, and one is, yeah, I'm just way too immunocompromised being on obinutuzumab right now. So I was going to go, and I could have come back and told you all these new exciting things for multiple myeloma and AML and CLL and all, but
Have you gone out to the Health Tree site to see the AML stuff yet?
I have seen the AML stuff, and yes, and it's interesting, and the CLL stuff is on Instagram. It was somewhere else, but it wasn't everywhere.
Well, they're just setting it up, but I just thought you might like to go out and just,
I was looking at the AML things, and that's coming along. And isn't Jenny's husband's brother, he had AML? Is that correct?
yes. That's why they chose it as
It's
the
a
second
tough
one.
protein to target. It's a very difficult thing to target, unfortunately.
We're just talking about, it's an information site, Gerry.
Oh, I
And
thought
I
you
think,
were talking about bispecifics with it.
No, we're talking about AML.
Okay.
and Gerry, I know that you had spoken about you were having graft versus host disease. I know that Dana-Farber just got a big grant and is going to be increasing their work on that. And I don't know if there are
They're
other
tapering
centers
me
as
now.
well.
They're tapering. I'm down to basically one pill in the morning every day. So I'm almost at a half dose. And I go through you go through a roller coaster where I get problems and everything, but it only kind of stays for 2 weeks and then I kind of stabilize. So I'm hoping to get down off of the Jacophy because it's pretty much the only cancer thing I take now for the graft versus host. I don't take anything else for anything for the time being anyway.
That's great. Be nice to be off of that too.
Yeah, because it's just I worked in the garage. It's 90 degrees today, and my back just goes crazy. I had to get an ice pack, a vest actually it was for people with multiple myeloma. That the deal is if you it messes going through all the chemo or all the stuff messes up your sweat glands, and so what I get is real bad back problems, particularly when it's hot. and sunlight, and they actually make ice pack vests that I use when I ride my bike. And it really gives me total comfort for 2.5 hours out in 80-degree when you're riding really hard. And so there's all kinds of tricks now.
An ice vest.
Yeah. And so what I found was other people have the same condition that I didn't know about. I looked up and said, man, somebody's got to have something that's a cooling device that you can wear when you're doing sports and everything. But I mean, I'll do it now if I have to go out and do anything at any extended period in the sun or heat. My back just goes crazy with it. And so this ice vest, and it's 2-hour block, so it's like two kinds of ice. I've never saw this stuff before. It's really high tech. It's sorry, Jim, but hold
That's
on.
okay.
It
Hey,
just dropped off on me again.
interesting.
But I mean, yeah, and the first part melts, and then the second part kicks in at about an hour into it, and it really works well.
That
Because a lot of
sounds like
people have this problem.
that sounds like a good solution for also night sweats, hot flashes, all sorts of things. So
Yeah, that's the bed jet is a godsend too, as we talked about earlier.
that ice vest,
It blows in the sheets.
it is. Our AC was not working, and I have to say that saved us, and a ceiling fan. Gerry, can you do you happen to have, or can you find the link to send to us in the chat for this ice vest?
Yeah.
Do you remember the brand, even if it's just the brand? Okay. Well, Gerry is doing that. I'm looking around.
Yeah, I have it on my desk here. It's kind of, here we go. It's called my filing system. It's a big pile of crap on my desk. Scan me. No, I'll send it. It's called Thermapparel. I'll put it in the text.
Thermapparel?
Thermapparel. And so I ended up getting, I didn't know whether it was going to work or not because I'm always experimenting around with what can help. And the deal was I ended up getting factory seconds of the older generation, and it works like a champ. It was half the price. It's about basically $100 a vest. And I got 2 of them because you got to wash. I ride a lot, so I need to use the vest. But I'll send, let me see. How do I do this?
And are they heavy?
Record, share? No.
No, it's up in the upper right-hand corner, Gerry.
The chat. Yeah, so if you go to the little.
Got it.
So Mary, since we're speaking of multiple myeloma, how are you doing?
Well, I did my PET scan last month and it showed it looked good. Nothing's gotten worse. I'm happy. And today I went and scheduled my cataract surgery. I think Lou talked about that a couple months ago. And so, yeah, that gave me confidence to go in there and tell them just what I wanted done. And so I'm going to have that next month. And tomorrow, the Carmanos Cancer Center in Lansing is having a party to celebrate National Cancer Survivor Day. I didn't know about that, but
Tomorrow?
I think, yeah, that's when their party is. I don't know if that's the real day, but I'm going to go. They're having cake and ice cream, and they're blowing for cancer survivors, and they're having a special guest. The Michigan State mascot Sparty is going to be there, so it's a big draw. So I'm going to go.
Good, I'm glad.
And you're a big draw too, Mary.
Oh, thanks.
So do you and Gerry live near each other?
No, I'm north of Lansing. He sounds like he's over by Detroit area?
Yeah, I'm in the lakes area by like Novi. I live in Commerce, and so it's kind of it's a bunch of what used to be vacation homes and all that stuff for all these people. And then they're little shit. They were shacks, and then everybody just developed the hell out of them. But it's a nice lake area. There's a lot of lakes, Horrible traffic.
So Mary, you said that your PET scan was good. And so are you on treatment right now?
Yes, and this is the longest I've been on anything. I've been on this since last July. So I'm on the Kyprolis and the, what is the Fast Pro? And I'm getting off the Dex. So I've had some problems, and that contributed to the accelerated cataracts. So I'm glad to see that go.
Deadly Dex.
Yeah.
That's why they put me on prednisone.
It's that different?
Beg your pardon?
It's different?
It's 6 times less severe, and it has half the half-life. It's only in your system for about 12 to 30 hours, whereas Dex can be in your system for 72 hours.
Oh.
But they both, they both are, corticosteroids, and they both, drive the other drugs to do better, and are their anti-inflammatories.
How long can you safely be on prednisone?
Prednisone?
I can answer that one.
Okay, you answer it.
It depends on how much you're taking. I was on 10 a day for close to 3.5 years, and then I was on 5 a day up until the 5-year point. And I could have gone for who knows, except that's a small amount.
Yeah, but still sometimes people have a problem getting off, even with a 5 milligram.
I get 90 milligrams with my Kyprolis infusion every week.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Just on the day of your infusion?
Oh, okay. It's not 90 every day.
No, 90 once a week. Then it'll go once every other week, and then I don't know. We're just starting this.
And when
I've only had one infusion.
I saw that's from your infusion.
That's last week's. We'll see what they'll do tomorrow.
Maybe you'll have a matching one on the other side.
Not yet. Maybe tomorrow.
That's what I mean.
Something that doesn't let it run a needle.
Right. And Dex, when you're on Dex, that's every day. Is that correct or not? Or is that just
depends on what the doctor wants? Normally, it's 2 days a week, or 40 milligrams divided by 2, or then they drop it to 20. So there's a lot of playing around with it. Right now, the feelings is get off of it as soon as you can.
I only had it for 2 days, and it made my heart race, and I couldn't
sleep. You didn't sleep for 2 days.
That's correct. I should have planned out my house cleaning to coincide with it.
Well, I made scones at 4 o'clock in the morning yesterday.
Oh, I love scones. Thanks for the invitation, Sally.
Hey, it's got really
Mary's
good
had my scones.
Whole Foods has excellent scones. If you're into scones.
But I start my 400 milligrams of venetoclax tonight, so that's the one I'm not looking forward to.
And that is so interesting in that, as I had texted with you, for CLL patients, there's a ramp up period, and you're just like, and I don't know though what you ramp up to. How many are you taking?
4 pills.
Oh. And usually it's done at under observation, the ramp up. Wow.
I asked him, I said, do you want me to start lower? And the nurse practitioner wrote back, he says, no, he wants you to take them all at once. I said, okay. But the one difference is there's more of a chance of TLS with CLL than there is with multiple
Yes.
myeloma.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why there's no ramp up.
So for those who don't know, tumor lysis syndrome, TLS. So
It's similar to CRS, cytokine release syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what about that with you? Can that also happen with multiple myeloma?
No, I was just saying that TLS is similar to CRS in myeloma.
Can that cause that then for you?
No, they don't
Okay.
think so, because it doesn't cause it like it does when you have a CAR T.
So are you taking this while we're all on the phone together so we can make
No.
sure? Okay.
No, I just ate some coconut cake because it said I had to have a full stomach, so I just had a piece of coconut cake. And now I'm going to go to bed and take my pills. I think I'd rather take them tonight so it's not quite the weekend when all the effects are going to hit. So, and I'll be at the infusion center when it hits at noon tomorrow. So.
And from what I've heard from people, I don't know if they instructed you to do it at night, but generally speaking, nighttime, people seem to do better with it when they take it.
I always take the big drugs at night because then I can sleep through any side effects.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I took my Revlimid at night every night too. So, and I can take my gummies, and if I can, I can just go to sleep.
Yay, Michigan. No.
No, I'm in Indiana.
Oh, isn't that illegal? No.
Well, when you get them online, they can send them to you with THC in them.
we don't want Sally to get arrested here, so
Yeah. But it actually helps me with graft versus
Oh, it's
host.
wonderful.
I mean,
It helps
really
me with my
I mean,
neuropathy.
I have a thing, the PM version of it, and it really works like a champ. It's only like 5 milligrams of THC
THC.
and
Yeah.
like 20 or 30 CBD
It,
and 20 or 30 CBN, and
yeah.
you sleep like a baby and no itching, no.
It's exactly. But it's interesting. I tried 2 of them instead of 1, about an hour apart. I swear I didn't know where I was.
Well, yeah, because I mean,
I
now you're
decided 2
you're
is not
doubling the
going to be a good
THC.
thing for me.
You got to go to a Grateful Dead concert then.
Ah! I was just,
And
I was sitting and reading and I'd look up and I'd look around the room like, where in the hell am I? I was in my bedroom. I'm a cheap drunk.
I was posting about people joining our meeting tonight, and I was like, how do I say that we even have fun without someone being insulted who has no clue? Like they're thinking, I don't want people to think by any means that we're making fun of blood cancer, but we really do have some fun here. And you just really, Sally, that just made me laugh so hard. We didn't know where you were.
Hey, I thought it was funny when Dr. Abinor says, we're going to start treatment again, even though my light chain is 300. 2 years ago or 4 years ago, it was 3,000. And I'm just starting to relapse. There's no evidence in my M spike. There's no evidence in my PET scan, but the light chains are going up. So he said, we're going to play a game of whack-a-mole. So that's what he's calling it. We're going to play whack-a-mole and hit it on the head and get rid of it early. So I go back into remission.
Does that mean you'll be able to go off treatment, or will you have to stay on venetoclax for a certain amount of time?
Well, the article I read actually was just posted on Health Tree 2 days ago, and it was appropriately timed. Said that normally, the current thinking is, and by the way, venetoclax is not FDA approved yet. So
For multiple myeloma.
For myeloma, right. Yeah. So everything is being done off license. but he was saying that probably, people will stay on venetoclax as a maintenance.
So they've been studying that with CLL. First there was limited duration therapy with venetoclax, and they were finding some people do better if they stay on it longer. Some can go off it, and they've been studying if it will be as effective if they go back on it. So that's it for CLL. That's still being looked at. But are you in a trial then, or just it's off label?
Just off label. I'm doing it with Kyprolis, and I know I'll have Kyprolis once a week for the first, I think, 2 months, and then once every other week for 2 months, and then once a month for a while.
What type of drug is that? What is that?
Proteinase inhibitor. It's the one that tells the cell it's allowed to die. In other words, it's the whack. The venetoclax is the searcher and seeker.
So, as opposed to getting a twofer, you have to do two things versus a bispecific doing.
No, I'm doing 3 things with the prednisone.
Oh, that's true with the prednisone.
Myeloma seems to love quads and triplets of drugs. So,
well, thank goodness they figured that out.
Well, because normally everything has to have a proteinase inhibitor, which allows the myeloma cell to die. Then it has the searcher and seekers, which are the, teclistamab and the venetoclax, the Revlimids, to go in and find them and identify them. And then you have the corticosteroids, steroids, which, push them along and give them energy to do their job right and to reduce the inflammation of the effects. And then sometimes they throw in the monoclonal antibodies, which, do something else. Maybe it's the one with the little sweeper, sweeps all the debris.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, that maybe. It also though destroys.
Probably.
Because that's what.
But then you've got Zolfran and all the other drugs for the side effects.
It's true. So, Sally, when did you start with the drug that you have it on? Tomorrow you're going for infusion, you said. And when
That's
did you
start? Second
one? Okay.
And I start venetoclax tonight. So.
Wow, it's like almost live. It's almost like a reality show here. It's almost live that you're going to be taking it.
Well, and the funny thing is my nurse practitioner was telling me she couldn't find any grants for it because it is off label. The next day I got in the mail an approval letter. I must have applied for a grant in March or something. I don't remember doing this with HealthWell. And I got approved for a $12,000 grant for the copays. Copays are $2,900 a month.
Somehow was this before or after you took those 2 gummies at the same time when you applied for the grant?
No, it was before because this was applied for in March and I just got the approval yesterday.
Wow.
And March was before I relapsed.
I was just going to say, and you didn't know. That was very smart thinking. I guess the moral of the story is that maybe we should be doing things like that.
Yeah, just be prepared. I mean, you don't have to accept the grant if you get it. Maybe that was my theory. I don't know I don't remember doing this, but I got it. So
for someone who's just starting treatment and about to take venetoclax, you're in wonderful spirit, Sally, or so it seems.
Well,
how are you doing?
I'm not upset. I know it was coming. Like Lou, she says, it comes. It's part of the package. I know enough or too much about it that I have a lot of hope that everything's going to work out fine. I knock on wood every day. I thank the Lord for being gracious in that I have a very mild case compared to what other people have gone through in multiple myeloma. I don't have kidney damage. I don't have a back problem. Other than I can't walk because of other problems. And have no stamina. I'm doing really well, and I feel good. So there are people out there with a lot worse problems than I have.
Well,
And if these off license trials, and I almost think it's a trial because Dr. Abinor is a huge researcher and he has more clinical trials going than anybody I've ever seen. That, the information that he can gain from it, because I've never heard of anybody on Kyprolis, venetoclax, and prednisone. So it'll be interesting.
please keep me posted on how you're
Yes,
doing.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
When did you start?
Last Wednesday, I had my first Kyprolis.
Okay, because you were talking about it the last meeting that you were going to do the.
I started that. I couldn't get, insurance and patient navigators do not always talk to each other. So I went ahead and just paid the $2,900 copay on the venetoclax and said, I'll deal with it later. So I didn't get the venetoclax until yesterday, and I'll start that tonight.
Have you, that's AbbVie, I think, isn't it? It's venetoclax.
Genentech. Yeah, Genentech is the marketer and AbbVie is the manufacturer.
So AbbVie does help patients with drug costs.
I hope, I don't know. I didn't go out to them after I got the HealthWell grant.
Yes, they do.
Even though you're on even though you're on Medicare. Because
Oh yeah, Celgene helped me come 100%.
Prescriptions, but I think what I found was they weren't allowed to. Oh, I suppose maybe if you go a different route where they don't give you the $5 card or whatever.
Yeah,
I had 100% coverage from Celgene for my Revlimid at $22,000 a month for the last 3 years.
Isn't venetoclax also that expensive or almost that expensive?
I think it's 17,000, but
Yeah, so that
I know I had one drug that I had to fill out some papers and things. It was like $2,800 for my small intestine, and what the company did was at first they were not going to approve it, and I had to send or get the insurance to send a letter saying that they would not cover it. And by getting that said that they would not pay for it, then they were able to give me the medicine.
Yeah, I was on Tavoso. It was 35,000 a month.
wow. Yes, I was thinking that grant, is that grant per month or is that just a one-time?
For mine, it was 35,000 a month as long as you took it.
But Sally, on your grant, I was wondering, is
oh,
that
the HealthWell, this is every 3 months.
so?
Or no, every 4 months, every quarter.
So that doesn't even cover the venetoclax if
Yeah, it covers the copay of the venetoclax.
Oh, okay. Oh, so the venetoclax is covered.
Except for the copay every month. Yeah.
All right. I didn't realize that. And Gerry, was yours covered?
No, what I had to do is I worked the system and kind of faked them out, and they gave me a $5 gift. They gave me the $5 card, even though I was on government insurance for state insurance, because somebody else gave it to me. And I used another drug company and said, hey, well, they gave it to me, and worked my way so I didn't have to pay it, because I would have been out. I think I would have been out 12,000 a month was my copay.
When I took venetoclax, they paid for it, and it was really kind of interesting because
who paid for it? Excuse me.
I have a Part D with the teacher retirement system, and the first month I paid, I think it was $42. The second month I paid, I think, $38, and then this one was really wild. The third month I paid 12 cents. And that was because I went into the catastrophe.
Right, yeah, the bubble, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. I have Part D, and with
It depends on the insurance company that carries your Part D and what your insurance
Blue Cross
company,
Blue Shield.
well, and their formulary list.
And it's also who insures, who's carrying your Part D for copay. So is it like teacher? Is it the state of Michigan? Is it what entity contributes to
ARP,
the Part D?
AARP.
Okay,
Mine comes through United Healthcare, but they are
Yeah,
only
mine's through United Healthcare as well.
yeah, but they're only the administrator for the
Right.
Texas Teacher Retirement System.
right, right. So mine wasn't covered really. Other than, well, they were going to pay. They were going to pay like I don't know. They were going to get billed for 22,000, and I was going to cover the 12,000 a month. Was what they wanted.
I just don't
Under
understand how
Michigan,
the
under the
government can allow.
state of Michigan plan, the teachers plan.
Yeah, I just don't understand how, having the same type of insurance, and some people pay $3,000 a month and some people pay $42 a month.
Well, and it also goes from state to state.
Right,
Yeah,
correct.
then
You're right.
multiply that by 50.
Right.
Yeah, right.
And they're all different.
Mhm.
It's all different.
Because
So my problem was is the cancer drugs weren't covered with catastrophic problem. They all the things I was taking, Tavoso, we don't count that in your excuse me, $1,800 maximum copay or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, they stuck. Yeah, I got stuck.
well, yeah, that's true. If your insurance doesn't cover it, it doesn't go into the catastrophic thing.
Right.
I didn't realize that.
Because my
Because of an-
small intestine medicine didn't do that.
They play
Well,
games
I
with
hate
all
to do
that
this,
stuff.
but I'm going to bed.
You don't want to take your pills and make sure we'll all be here, making sure that
Nope.
everything's okay.
No, my cat is pounding on my foot saying it is time to go to bed. And ask Mary. That's a true story. He comes over here and beats on me until I go to bed.
That's kind of funny.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Sally. Best wishes.
Miss Sally.
Thanks.
Yeah. Good luck.
Barbell, what is happening with you? You said you had
Well, I
wanted.
have my checkup this month, and they will also do an ultrasound for checkup. But I'm fine actually. I don't think I have any issues, but we'll see.
Oh, I hope all continues to go well for you.
Like it.
You look very good.
I feel good too.
Right.
Do you have any plans for vacation this summer?
Not really, no. A lot of people are sick here. I don't know what's wrong again. In my family and friends, they all are down with fever and I don't know, some kind of virus. And well, it's time to stay away again. I don't want that.
So it's not, you're saying it's just a virus. I shouldn't say just, but it's it's a virus. It's not like.
It's some kind of virus, but there was a post today from Professor Halleck, and he said that there was some research that the ones that had COVID are more prone to infections than the ones who didn't have COVID. And that's really the case because, like my son, he had 3 vaccinations and he's constantly sick. They constantly have something. It's terrible. And I have a health practitioner who did not get vaccinated, and she also had COVID, and she has the same issue. And I did not have COVID, and I don't have this issue.
So it's if you had COVID, you're saying you're more
Yeah.
prone with Dr.
That's what
Halleck.
they say, that this virus it keeps affecting the immune system for a long time, and then you catch every bug that's around.
That's why I don't eat at restaurant. I mean, I don't go into restaurants. I don't eat at restaurants. I carry out or eat
I
outside or
eat
do
in
whatever.
restaurants when I sit outside.
I'll eat at off times inside if I can get a corner.
Yeah, or you go at times when there are not so many people, when it's not so crowded, then it's also not that much of a problem.
Yeah, Barbell, you would mention that, which is a good idea if you can do that. But yeah, it's outside dining now, which, I feel like
It's
this might only
nice
come
now
in.
because the weather is fine.
But if it's a place that's like on a city sidewalk that's very busy, and if it's crowded, they have tables on top of each other, it's just like being out
No way.
inside.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
that doesn't happen.
And you got to sit upwind.
Yeah.
You don't want to be sitting downwind.
I hate it, when you sit at the table and already the next people are waiting at your desk, looking at your plate, how fast you eat your plate.
Yeah.
Or the people. I wear a
Too.
mask. I wear a mask at the grocery store, and then people come right up on my ass, and I'm sitting there going, "I'm wearing a mask for a reason, you idiots."
You ask them to step back. I'm
Yeah.
not ashamed to do that.
No, I come back and say, "Look, I'm recovering from cancer." Can you say, "Oh, everybody comes back, everybody jumps back," and it's not about them. It's always about them. And so the deal is I've given up trying to correct people and do stuff. I mean, I just whip out the cancer card. I should get a shirt.
Well, the other thing that
And
I do,
wear it when I go to Meijer or
They won't
Kroger.
they won't even notice.
I know. It
the other
just
thing that I do is I will not ride the elevator with anybody else.
no, you're right. But
And
even at Hermanos, I go up the elevator. There's 5 guys in it. I wait.
I do too. And most people, if somebody comes up behind me, I said, I just want to let you know that I ride the elevator by myself.
Yeah.
And most people are very gracious. I've only had 2 or 3 people that have given me any flack.
Well, if you say that, I would think people would understand that. That does seem, some buildings that would be difficult in though, like big buildings, where everyone is like lining up to get on.
It
That would be,
depends
Even
on
in
the
the
time.
hospitals,
And
nobody wear masks.
I know at one of the doctor's offices, if you get there and right before 8 o'clock, and it's all the doctors and nurses and things are coming in and they're riding the elevators, you just wait until that rush has gone or go before the rush.
You know what's amazing to me is I was going to my regular GP doctor appointment about 2.5 weeks ago, and it's right part of the hospital, part of KU, and so there are a lot of doctors, nurses, and stuff that are going up and down the elevators as well. But I don't, that doesn't bother me. But when you have all these people coming in for appointments, and I was standing there with one other person who was, I think she was a healthcare person, a doctor or a nurse or someone, and we were the only two. And all of a sudden, all these people like came into the elevator, and it was a pretty good size elevator. But I thought, people, this is like a hospital and doctor building. Why would you do that? Even though they don't have those restrictions in place anymore, that it's just 2 per elevator. I said, ooh, too many people, and I got off.
Well, the other thing is when you get on the elevator, you stand right at the door. You don't go to the back of the elevator.
And it was just the two of us, and I thought, and the doors were starting to close, and I thought we were okay.
Yeah.
And then a whole family got on, and then 2 more people crowded in, and I said, "Ah,
I'm not
too
afraid to
crowded."
say, would you please wait? I'll send the elevator back to you. And I do. I will punch the button for that floor so that the elevator will go back to them.
I just got off. I just got off. I had a mask on, and I just got off. I thought, you know, here I am standing with the mask, and all these people crowded in, and I thought, this is like silly. People should be more thoughtful about that. And so I thought, they don't care. They don't care that they're all crowded there. I'm the one that cares. And so I got off. But anyway, I just thought that's odd. I understand in a business building or, some of the places that you go to that have elevators, that's not their business. Healthcare is not their business. But in a hospital or a doctor's building where that's all that it is caring for people who are either sick or getting checkups or don't want to get sick or don't need to get sick or have cancer, and why they would even do that is beyond me. But I figure, you know what? I just got off. I said, too many people. They probably thought I was this crazy lady, but anyway, I didn't care. I didn't feel safe. So
I used to
I've done
cough in line at the Meyer to have people back when it was when it was bad. I would literally cough and cough, and people would back off, get off my ass because they didn't know. I mean, it's like anybody else. If somebody sneezes, you don't know. But the cough always works.
I'll
Does
try
it,
that next time.
yeah, I
I don't
know.
think they would have cared.
No, not now, probably.
No, not now, but I mean, back in the day when it was really where it was on everybody's minds and everything, it did work.
So has anyone here ever been had Neulasta shots?
Oh,
I
yes,
did.
many.
And did either of you have any side effects from it?
Is that going
I
to
didn't
sleep?
have any.
Is for going to sleep? Is that
no, it's for after you have had treatment to bring up your
oh, yeah,
your
yeah,
new
yeah, yeah, the white
your
blood
new.
cells. I've had it. I've had it multiple times.
And has
I
any
mean, after my cancer deal, I had at least one a week for a long time. And they were even wanting to maybe go to two because my neutrophils just weren't climbing at all.
and did you have side effects, Judy?
The only thing is you have a little bit of bone ache, and you take Claritin, for that. And I really didn't have much. I mean, I was coming off of really heavy chemo, so
Yeah,
after,
Take
kind of.
Claritin for everything.
having
Claritin's a
that,
wonderful thing.
Barbell, did you have any side effects?
No, I didn't have any side effects, but I only got it once. During my first treatment, they did it once, but that was all. But I had no side effects at all.
And
Bone pain.
They told me you could have bone problems, but I didn't.
well, I took the Claritin, so I really didn't have anything particularly.
I didn't take anything.
so yeah, I had it every month for 6 months when I was on a trial with FCR and ibrutinib, and I didn't. Who knows what it was? It was like it could have been from anything, but I didn't have any bone pain. But they gave it to me at my last infusion because my white blood cell count had tanked so much, and I had become neutropenic. I think but I was like, well, what's bone pain? I don't remember that. They're like, you'll know it if you get it, but it felt like my shoulder had detached. It was so horrible, and Claritin didn't touch it, and my head felt like it was in a vice. It was not 5 days. So it didn't help. Then they told me to try Benadryl, but that just, I mean, it's almost like when all else fails, take Benadryl, it'll knock you out. But it did
What
seem
about Tylenol? Did Tylenol help you at all?
Oxy works.
Tylenol and Claritin. Yeah, and that they didn't. Maybe they did help. Maybe it would have been worse, for all I know. But yeah, the Benadryl seemed to help, but it just knocked me out so I could sleep.
Yeah.
So Gerry, did you have bone pain, Gerry? When you
Yeah, and they give me like low oxy
Wow. Yeah,
for it.
I was
I
pretty
took Claritin and everything. It didn't. I just it's like having the flu pretty bad with your bones. For me, it was all over. Um, but I think it was only maybe the first time I had it. Second time I had it. I went through it multiple times. I can't remember how many times. But
Well, I also had low hemoglobin at the same time too.
Huh. So
but
maybe
anyone taking any kind of, ibuprofen, anything like that, because because of bleeding and stuff. And
Yeah, we
so what they did is they gave me, what's the smallest oxy you can get? Like a point
Three,
5 milligram?
325, like that.
No, 5 milligrams. I mean, it was like it was tiny, but it really helped.
yeah, they're not going to, I don't think they would give me that for that. Well, hopefully it won't happen
Hopefully not.
again. But yeah, my white blood count and my neutrophils had never been below range ever in all the years, you know, with all my other, with my treatment and this time around too. And then my platelets tanked. So it's
Well,
interesting. I almost feel like
mine,
things are overkilled.
mine came up, finally, and then we were trying the calibrutinib, which I only did for like 6 weeks, and then they started tanking again.
Huh.
So we stopped the calibrutinib, and so I've taken nothing for 3.5 years.
And how is everything?
Well, it was pretty good until the first of the year, and my glands are swollen. But Dr. Wan says we're not to the point of treating yet. He wants me to keep waiting, which is hard to do.
It is, especially we're all used to everything instantly, right?
Yep.
Wow. I'm missing Lynn tonight. I know he had said he was going to be here, but he was having power problems, I think. He had said. So, Jim.
A couple of weeks.
What did you say, Judy?
I said he was on our CLL support group a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen him since.
Yeah, maybe he'll still come. Yeah, that's true. So, well, if he has power. If he has
Well, I was out of
Do they
internet.
have a storm in Texas again?
Huh?
Why is he out of power? Do they have a
Well,
storm again in Texas?
yeah, we've had some storms, and like my internet went out Sunday, and I didn't get it back till last night.
Oh.
And it was some fiber optic somewhere was messed up.
It might have been that versus power. Anyway, whatever. I guess my mind processed it that he wouldn't be able to connect.
Yeah.
So it could have been that.
I've connected through my phone on a couple of things, while it was out, but I couldn't get anything else. It's really weird when you come to depend on it so much to find out everything.
That is hard because we have to use them for so many things now in connecting. So Jim, you had said that before that you needed a minute or so.
Well, I didn't really need it, but an interesting thing anyway. I was diagnosed back in July of 2017. Anyway, prostate cancer had then moved to the glands, okay, in the back, right? So anyway, I get put on drug ADT, it's called anyway, androgen deprivation therapy, plus a second level drug to suppress the testosterone out of the adrenal glands, right? And so anyway, I went for close to 2.5 years with hardly any symptoms whatsoever, except for the hot flashes, right? Then I joined AnCan, right? And I hear about all the horrible side effects you are supposed to have: brain fog, fatigue, all this thing. Guys are complaining like crazy. And I'm going, wait a minute. I don't have these things. Well, it turns out, and I'm a bicycle nut too, right? So every day, probably close to 5 to 6 days a week, I would be out, okay, on a bicycle exercising. And it turns out that eventually I kept saying, look, guys, exercise, aerobic exercise, and it really helps. And So a number of others started to try this, and there was a few others who had also done it. And so also hydration too. So I was drinking about 72 ounces a day. Of course, you would be up, say, uh, you would be up about 2 or 3 times during the night. But the problem now is I am getting old, right? So you can't go on that. Plus, also in the drug uh, pair I was on, they then added a small dose of the prednisone to generate the cortisol because the drug I was on will actually kill it. So that was good. So anyway, I started a treatment holiday last August, right? After feeling great. Well, all of a sudden I started to then feel bad. Arthritis, which had been around in the hands and the arms and the elbows. And so it was interesting that I didn't have side effects on the drugs, but now I then am not on any drugs, and I've got the pain in the hands and the elbows and the shoulders and
Oh,
everything. But anyway,
in your
but
hand.
still, it still happens to hold out. I'm still testosterone free, and it has been suppressed, and it might come back in a month. It may come back in 6 months. It may come back in a year. It may never come back.
Have you
So
taken Lupron?
yes, I have. I did that for 5 years.
Yeah, that's what my husband takes.
Right. The Lupron essentially Eligard, which is essentially the same drug, exactly the same. There is no difference. Yes. And so, as I said, how provided you're active and you are exercising, aerobic exercise, not just strolling out to walk around the block. I mean, it really helps. It really helps. Although eventually, provided that you drop off of that, the fatigue will return. I was here, okay, and there was an ice storm on, and I didn't get to exercise for close to 4 days. Well, at the end of the 4 days, I was on the couch like, oh my God, I can't hardly move off this couch. And it took every of the willpower to go outside and get out the bike and to start to pedal and coast and pedal and coast. And eventually I started to feel good. And boy, I'm back again. So it
Just
was
4
amazing.
days.
Huh?
Just 4 days. Wow. Just 4 days and you started
E-bike,
feeling that way.
e-bike, e-bike.
Well, now there, well, I don't do,
Oh, yeah.
well, I don't do that kind of, I do like, okay, around the neighborhood, through the alleys, and up the
Right. I'm
street.
familiar with Alexandria. I used to work for a company that was based out of Alexandria.
Oh,
So I used to
okay.
go there all the time, for years.
Del Ray area.
Okay.
Okay, over in the Mount Vernon area. Well,
Yeah.
Mount Vernon Avenue,
Right.
which it has now changed from these little old houses, to mansions. I mean, it's
Yes.
amazing. It
Yeah.
has just. I paid.
Money, money, money.
I paid a hundred and
Lots of money.
right, 118,000 for a 800 square foot house. Expanded it to 1,000, and now exactly the same house. It is worth about 800,000. So it's insane up here, but it's paid for. Okay, I take it we have to go.
Thank you for that on the aerobic exercise because
Oh yes.
I do I'm back to doing a lot with weights and, I
Right.
walk the dog. I don't run with our dog, and I can't run because of my back injury from last year, if you all remember. But yeah, as much as I love being outside, I'm going to have to get back to my, we have an elliptical. So I think that's going to have to be the way until I'm strong enough to go back to some other things outside.
Or possibly a stationary bike.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we have the elliptical. Yeah, I've been looking at stationary bikes, but I like to be outside. That's part of the
Yeah,
Oh,
problem.
no,
absolutely too. I like to
30
go
minutes
out.
indoors is like 2 hours outside.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. I like to go outside. The birds, okay, and the little kids and
Yeah, all kinds
everything.
of stuff. And you got that strip that goes all along the Potomac.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
And it
beautiful.
has
That's right
been
near.
expanded around here. There are the interconnecting
Yeah,
bicycle trails, and
yeah.
in fact, from here, okay, in the Washington, um, DC area, there's a bike trail that goes all the way to New York, and
Wow.
there's a bike trail that goes from here out to the Sh- Shenandoah.
Goodness.
Wow.
Oh, yes. I mean, they are big on the bike trail, except for the geese. You have to avoid the geese because they are protected with lawyers and they know it.
And then there's Gerry. He'd be protecting them too.
I have one. I call her Miss B-52 because we trained her. We shake some corn, and she comes like this, and she arcs and flies over the deck at
Right.
command. I mean,
Wow.
and this thing is just so big. Woof, woof,
Oh,
woof, woof, woof. I mean, it's neat. It's a great air show.
We
yeah.
have lots of geese too in the winter.
We yeah, we have them in my neighborhood in Boston, but not in, I mean, not right in our yard. We have enough of some other things like squirrels that our dog goes crazy about.
We have rabbits, lots of rabbits. I had tried
Rabbit.
to, I tried to plant pansies when I first moved to where I am now, and overnight, 3 flats of pansies gone.
Hmm.
They taste good.
Evidently.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
you got to
squirrel,
spray them with deer away spray.
Well, I
That's deer, and it's
learned that
just it
when I
decimates.
first started, where I lived before and moved before I moved here, I had pansies. Of course, I had them in planter boxes too, not in in the ground. And they just went crazy. But here, overnight, I was just appalled.
it's
I
good
did
to eat.
learn after that, you do get the deer scram or whatever and put it out.
Does deer spray help with squirrels as well?
Maybe. I also tried some solar things that are supposed to make sounds to scare
Yeah.
things
Yeah, the
away.
ultrasound thing, the ultrasound. I didn't find the problem you have with squirrels. I use this squirrel spray. I have a weeping red bud, and it's a beautiful tree. But when it blooms, because you can use the buds in a salad, so it's a sweet tasting bark, and so the damn squirrels will try to eat the top of that thing. So I spray it with the deer stuff, and they stay away from that tree.
Oh, yeah, because
But
they,
you don't want to use it on a deck or anything if you got a deck, because it stinks like death. I mean,
Yeah, you can
it's
also
not a pleasant smell.
I forgot what kind of urine or whatever you can also put
Coyote
out.
urine. I've
Yeah,
tried that. I've tried all kinds of stuff.
yeah, we have a city-sized backyard, so I don't think that's probably, thank you for telling me that it stinks. Yeah. They,
These things.
yeah, they dug up about 140 bulbs. The
Oh
squirrel.
yeah, you got to come back and use Irish Spring. So you get Irish Spring
I've heard that. I haven't
in the
tried it.
bar with soap, and I just get a cheese grater because I bought all these trilliums online because it's a Michigan thing, and the raccoons and everything came and made it $50 buffet. where they ate everything. They dug up everything. And so what I learned is you could take Irish Spring and you get the big stacks of it, and you just shave it on
And it
top of
really
the mulberry plant, and it keeps them away. They hate
I'll
the smell of it.
try that.
Thank you. I've just learned all sorts of things tonight from everyone. And I thank you all for being here. Did Judy, was there anything else that anything that you wanted to share tonight?
The only thing I've had was a really bad reaction to a mosquito. I had on my finger, and it itched like crazy. Let me see if I can. Okay, this is
Oh,
Whoa.
that's what it looked like.
You sure it was a
And
mosquito?
yes, it was a mosquito, and the bump is still there. I'm going to we've got a new dermatology oncologist that in the practice that I'm going to see next week. Interesting. I know I've been like that since I've had chemo the first time. I get a blister on anything. I get a mosquito. So I have learned to use a ThermaCell. It's a device. I've actually got it over here. I'll show it.
Did they
They
heat it
have them.
wet?
They have them that you can put on your patio, but you also, this is the one I've used is this.
That helps?
Oh, it gives a 15-foot radius, and you turn it on. It has a little pad in here that has some chemical or whatever,
A
and then
butane.
it has a cartridge, and
Oh,
this heats this pad,
okay.
and it really works.
and
I
it's called,
What
was
is
the
it
first,
called?
it's called ThermaCell.
You can get them at
T A.
Home Depot
oh,
You can get them on Amazon.
or Amazon.
Can you see ThermaCell?
Now I've
yeah.
noticed since I went through since I went through chemotherapy, mosquitoes stay away. I'm totally repellent. I used to get bit in the winter by
Oh,
mosquitoes,
what? I
and once
used
I
to
went through
never
the
get
chemo,
bit.
they stay away from me.
I ate a lot of garlic, and I used to never get bit. And now,
Yeah.
since since my first chemo, it's like Katie barred the door.
Huh,
I wear long
huh.
sleeves all summer. I wear long pants all summer, and
They love me. Always have, but I
you can.
have been told that people with CLL can have reactions more so.
Mm-hmm.
They swell more.
Yeah, but they have these that are bigger that will sit on the patio and give a 25-foot radius. So,
I'd be
but
hanging
they
one
do
from my
work.
bike.
Huh?
When I get back to bicycling, I'll put one in my basket or hang it from my bike
Oh,
or something.
yeah. I've got to where I take it out to check the mail.
After seeing your finger, I can see why.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it was such a reaction because you don't have a lot of meat on your finger. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was all into the skin basically.
so what do you do for that?
Well, I for this one I happened to be going to get my blood test uh, on about the day after this started, and so when I always wait for my blood test, and the nurse came out with the results, and I had a bandage on my finger, and she said, "What's wrong?" And so I opened it and let her see it, and she said, "Oh, Dr. Awan is here. Let's go let him see it," because I tried to call the dermatologist, and of course they were not in the office that day. And so Dr. Awan gave me an antibiotic and
Mm-hmm. That's good.
steroid, and a steroid and an antibiotic cream to put on it.
That is important because the brother of my friend he got stung too, and he didn't do anything. And after 2 days, his leg swelled up like this, and they had to take off the leg, and he died in the meantime because
Oh my
he had an
goodness.
infection from a mosquito bite. It was a Staphylococcus streptococcus infection, and
Yeah.
it went through his entire body.
Well, I know I was starting to get a red streak. My hand was really swollen here and it kind of getting a red streak, and that's what scared me the most was,
Yeah,
starting.
that's the start of it. So you have to do antibiotics immediately,
Yeah.
otherwise it's too late.
We've learned about all sorts of things tonight. It's wonderful. The
Oh,
Thermapparel, the TermaCell.
everything's hot, 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 right?
That's right. That's right. I thank you all for joining us. And please,
you.
next month, I hope to see you again. It'll be July, wait, what will it be? It's the 6th, I think. I'm just going to double check that so that you can all mark it on your calendars.
Yeah, 'cause my oncologist is the 5th, so yeah, it is. It's the 6th
It's the 6th.
on Wednesday.
So I will see you on July 6th and see some of you online on social media in between now and then.
Yep.
And I wish
Okay.
you all a wonderful, I can't believe it, June.
Yes.
Mhm.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
All right, good night.
Joining us on AnCan.